What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the show. Welcome back to another episode of Seahawks Now, your home for all things daily Seattle Seahawks news, rumors, and updates. Today we have some exciting news. Leonard Williams, the big cat himself, was ranked as the NFL's 99th best player in 2025. Yes, that's right. The beginning of the NFL Top 100 list has come out today. It came out yesterday. They released numbers 100 through 97. And Leonard Williams does enter in as the 99th best player in the league. This is voted by his peers. So I'm happy to see this. He was unranked last time around. Some people believe that this is fair. Some people actually think he was disrespected. Michael Bumpus on 710 Sports, he actually thinks that he should be higher than 99. And he had a great season. I mean, he had 11 sacks, tied for 10th most in the league, led the Seattle Seahawks in that stat. 16 tackles for loss, the most of his career, tied for 9th in the NFL. He led all interior defensive linemen in both of those categories, by the way. He ranked 4th out of 118 inside defensive linemen on PFF's grading system. So essentially, if he's not the best inside defensive lineman, if he's not the best defensive tackle in the league, he's close to it, right? He's right up there with the rest of the great defensive tackles in the NFL. Is he Aaron Donald? No, but only Aaron Donald can be Aaron Donald. He's really good. By the way, he also went for a 91-yard pick six against the Jets, if you remember that one. That's the longest pick six by any guy more than 300 pounds. Right, this dude is literally 300 pounds, and he went for a 91-yard pick six. He didn't even make the Pro Bowl and ended up making it as an alternate. But now he has been ranked as the 99th best player on the list. Here's what Michael Bumpus has to say, quote, "The disrespect needs to stop when it comes to Leo Big Cat Williams. Just another thing to keep a chip on his shoulder. He's going to be one of the best defensive linemen in the game this year. 99 out of 100? He should be at least in the 80s, man. At least in the 80s. Interesting. Yeah, so again, he's not super disrespected. Michael Bumpus thinks he should be in the 80s. He gets ranked 99. It's a couple spots off. I don't know if it's necessarily worth making a big deal about, but it is worth saying, yeah, the Seahawks do have a good defense, and I think even I kind of suffer from overrating Williams. I think I do overrate Leonard Williams just a little bit. Brian Walters offers some reasoning for why he thinks maybe he was only ranked number 99. It's because the voting actually takes place in the month of December, and Leonard Williams actually was best in December, but if players are voting during December, they might have voted before some of his best games. He had a really great season-ending stretch run in the final 6 games. He had 6 sacks and 9 tackles for a loss. That was in December and January. He actually was NFC Defensive Player of the Month during that stretch. And actually his last 2 games, which were both after Christmas, he had 4 sacks and 4 tackles for a loss. That would be the period after the voting would have even stopped. So if the players are voting on this after the end of the season, potentially he would be higher because his 2 best games came after Christmas, and apparently the voting, at least it used to take place between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So maybe that's just a flaw in the system, right? Why would they vote before the season's over? It doesn't make much sense to me. If I was them, I would vote after the season. It seems a lot more intuitive. But yeah, according to a 2024 article from GQ Sports, the NFL, the votes happen in between the holidays, during the holiday season. That was in 2024, so unless they've changed it in the past year, which I'm kind of doubtful that they have, that would still be the case. So he was ranked as the 99th best player before he went on a crazy tear over the last month of the season and won NFC Defensive Player of the Month. If that doesn't say he's a good player, I don't know what does. And again, I think, like I said, I think even I fall into this trap where, yeah, I do kind of feel like I underrate Leonard Williams just a little bit. I don't think I massively underrate him, but I think sometimes I forget when I talk about the pass rush, he's a big part of the pass rush, right? I always seem to mention guys like Mafe in the pass rush, guys like DeMarcus Lawrence. Leonard Williams led this team in sacks last year, and he easily could be again. He easily could do that again next year. Now, I kind of hope that we'll see Boye Mafe take the next step. I kind of hope that we'll see somebody else take that next step, but If it is Leonard Williams, that's just credit to him. I mean, he's a really dominant player. There's a reason why he's the big cat. So, yeah, Walters says probably part of that has to do with that strong finish to the season. But if they weren't voting after Christmas, obviously that might have hurt his vote just a little bit, but still comes in at number 99. And I'm proud of him. I mean, he deserves it based off of the stats, based off of the PFF grade being the fourth best among all defensive tackles. Yeah, he deserves being in that top 100 for sure. All right, let's move into my next topic, Jaylen Mo. What impact is he actually going to have with the Seahawks in 2025? I think this is a question that a lot of people are kind of wondering, because I hear on the radio all the time, guys are saying, could Jaylen Mo start? Could Jaylen Mo contend with Sam Darnold for the starting quarterback position for the Seattle Seahawks? I don't think so. I think watching his tape from last year, watching his tape from minicamp, he just doesn't seem like he's ready as an NFL passer. He just doesn't feel like he's at that point yet in his career. I don't think that he is a capable NFL starting quarterback based on the way that his feet are just never in the right position. He throws too many mistakes, too many incompletions. Even in minicamp playing against the third-string defense, there was just too many incompletions. So when I think about Jaylen Mo, what I would go there is I do think he's going to be playing more of a gadget role for the Seahawks in 2025. I think he's going to probably be kind of that gadget guy. And what I heard today on the radio, which is what I want to discuss, it was this question of, will he play, how many snaps per game can he play? Can he play 5 snaps a game? Will he play 8 snaps a game? Maybe 10? And the consensus on 710 Sports was that he would play between 8 to 10 snaps per game. Personally, I think that's a lot. I think that's probably more. I don't think we should expect Jaylen Mo to even play more than 5 snaps. I probably think he'll play maybe 2 or 3 snaps a game, at least at the beginning. And now it's true that he's a great runner of the football. And yes, he maybe he is the next Lamar Jackson. I mean, I really hope that he will be, because that would be awesome for this team if we could get the next Lamar Jackson. But usually that's not how it works with a third-round pick, right? He is the 92nd overall pick. It's not like he is setting the league on fire. I don't think he will. And that's kind of what they touched on. It's like, this guy's probably not going to set the league on fire. He's probably not going to be the best player, the best rookie quarterback in the league. In fact, he definitely won't be. He's not going to be starting. Now, what he can do, and he can make an impact by being that decoy, he can make a couple of handoffs per game, maybe come in for a couple of run-pass options, that sort of thing, maybe a couple trick plays. But to say he's going to enter the game 8 to 10 times per game, that just seems like a lot. That's even more than what Taysom Hill was averaging as a quarterback. Obviously, the past couple seasons, Taysom Hill was playing tight end. So that's what they kind of brought that up. They said, well, look, we got Clint Kubiak now. He's our new offensive coordinator, and he was coaching Taysom Hill last year. And Taysom Hill, obviously, kind of another gadget quarterback. So that's true. However, on the other hand, last year, Taysom Hill was not a quarterback. He was a tight end who sometimes played quarterback, but mostly was a tight end. And so when you look at the numbers, well, Taysom Hill was in the game on 30 snaps a game, but that's not as a quarterback. Most of those snaps came as a tight end, and he would usually get maybe 2 or 3 plays as a quarterback for a couple trick plays. Maybe he'd take a couple of snaps out of the Wildcat, but he was not playing quarterback 8 to 10 times last year. He was mostly out there as a tight end, and I think that's what people forget about when they make these comparisons, because they say, well, Clint Kubiak got great usage out of Taysom Hill. Maybe he'll get great usage again out of Milroe. I don't think he was using Hill as a quarterback. He was using him as a tight end, and I just don't think they're going to use Milroe in that same way. I think they like Jaylen Mo as a quarterback. That's what they said when they drafted him. That's what Mike McDonald said. He said Jaylen Mo is not a running back. He's not a gadget guy. He is a quarterback. He's going to practice behind Sam Darnold, and he's going to be the future, quote-unquote, the future of this team. Now, we'll see how much of a future he has with this team, but again, I don't necessarily see him doing the Taysom Hill thing and playing 30 snaps a game, because I don't think they're going to put him out at tight end, and I don't think there's room for 8 trick plays a game. I think there's probably room for maybe 2 or 3, and I think that's plenty. And if he does well and if it works, then they can add more into the playbook. But if you watch Week 1 expecting Jaylen Mo to be in the game 10 times, I think you're going to be disappointed. Let's move on to my final topic today. Where does the Seahawks quarterback room rank in the NFL in 2025? So this is one that I've kind of been thinking about a lot, and I'm not going off an article, just going off the top of my head. Where do I think this team ranks in 2025? So at quarterback, I think Sam Darnold as a starter is probably somewhere around the 15th or so best starter in the league. Just going off of what we've seen last year, he was a top 10 player. Before that, he was kind of a bottom 10 starter with the Panthers and with the Jets. So I think he's probably averaging out around 15 or 16. I think he's middle of the pack. I think that's pretty fair. And then with Jaylen Mo, again, it's hard for me to say because A, he hasn't played yet in the NFL, and B, like I said, he's a great runner, but I really do not trust him to throw the football. I just don't. And so with that being said, I think he's probably one of the lower tier backups, at least for now, until we actually see what we're getting out of him. I do agree he has a lot of potential, but until we can see him compete at an NFL level, I'm going to have to rank him as one of the lesser backup quarterbacks in the league for now. So I think when it's all said and done, the Seahawks quarterback room is probably right around the 20th or so best quarterback room, maybe a little bit higher, maybe the 18th quarterback room in the league. Definitely not one of the worst, and definitely has the potential to be better based off of Milroe's potential as a runner and Darnold's potential that we saw last year in Minnesota. If he can unlock that version of himself again, then we have probably a top 10 quarterback in the league, and then all of a sudden you probably are thinking about the Super Bowl, because I do think that's the rest of this roster is probably ready to ascend to that level if Darnold is also ready to go there. With that all being said, that's going to wrap things up for today. As always, if you like what you see, hit the like button down below. It really helps the channel out. Hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications so you do not miss another breaking news alert. Also, we're going to be introducing a new system here. We're going to be actually answering your guys' comments. So every video going forward from hopefully from tomorrow, but pretty soon here we're going to start doing these comment section read-offs where I'm just going to be answering 2 or 3 of my favorite comments, questions, I will say. It has to be questions down below. So if you want me to answer your questions, if you have any urgent questions that you want me to answer, anything you want to get my take on, my opinion on, then let me know down below in the comments. Leave it comment down below and I will get to you. I will read those comments. I will answer them at the end of every video, hopefully starting at the end of this week and going forward. With that all being said, have a great summer, and as always, until next time, go Seahawks.